Hey there, Beauty Expo. It's Dawn here from Bridal Business School. I'm an international business coach and social media marketing strategist, and I help hairstylists and makeup artists book more brides. Now, in one of my capacities as a social media consultant, as a strategist for social media, helping my clients, one of the things I really need to do is stay on top of the social media trends. And one of those trends that has come out in the last 18 months is the new Clubhouse app. So Clubhouse is a new audio app, and I'm having to say that the beauty industry, particularly overseas, is taking this app by storm. And so I want to share a short presentation with you today as to how you might use this app in order to grow your business. It also will help you grow your authority in the beauty industry, and it will connect you with a lot of amazing individuals. So without further ado, let's jump into my machine. All right, so let's talk about the Clubhouse app, and let me give you a little introduction to how we might be using it. Today, what I want to cover is a few things. I want to talk about what is the Clubhouse app, why you might consider using it as a hair and beauty pro, and then how it actually works so that when you get on the app, because it can be a little bit overwhelming to not actually know how it works and what you're supposed to be doing. So I wanted to share with you today kind of a few step-by-steps as to how you kind of get started with using the app. So for those of you who have never met me before, my name is Dawn Rose. I am a live streamer, podcaster, speaker, florist, and a hair and beauty pro. I've been in this industry for the last 15 years. I've had a successful wedding business, mainly in Victoria. I'm now up in Queensland. But pretty much now I'm an international coach, and I help hairstylists and makeup artists with their social media and digital marketing so that they can book more brides. And I've been doing this now since about 2015, when I came to the end of my education in hairdressing and kind of realized there was a bit of a gap when it came to helping new hairstylists and makeup artists being able to create a digital impact in their business, be able to make an impact on social media, and as well to kind of being able to stay ahead of the trends and really understand how we can use social media and digital marketing to grow our hair and beauty businesses. So let's talk about Clubhouse. So Clubhouse, as I said, it is a brand new app. Clubhouse has been out since for about 18 months now, and it's an iOS only app, meaning that unless you are on an iPhone or perhaps an iPad, you can't actually use it right now. That's going to change. This is as at 2021, early 2021. We can't use it unless we are on an Apple phone, for example, or an Apple iPad. It is an invite only app, so you have to be invited to join the app, and it's also audio only. So let me just cover a couple of bits about that. They're working on rolling this out to Android phones. So if you are on an Android, it is coming soon to the Android. It's something that they're working on. The reason why it's invite only, and this is quite interesting, a lot of the time, so if you take, for example, Facebook originally was an app that was designed for college users. I think it was for Harvard law students, and they used it. It was like a private, social networking just for that sort of small community, and then it grew, and that's pretty much what Clubhouse are doing. Clubhouse started out with a lot of the top digital marketers around the world, gave them access to this app. They started talking on it. They gave them invites to invite their friends, who then had invites to invite their friends. And right now, that's how it works. When you start on the app, you have about 3 or 4 invites that you get given, and then funnily enough, the more you give away, the more you get back. So I know that recently I've joined about 3 or 4 people in the last couple of weeks, but now I've got another 8 new invites to be able to give out to people. So they are expanding this app. It went really fast from like 2 million users to like 4 million users, I think, all within like a really short period of time, say weeks. So the reason why it's invite only, though, I think it's so that they can keep on top of their updates. and through the App Store, and they can keep working on things without the app being too overwhelmed. But it will be rolled out, I have been told, in Clubhouse, in some of the Clubhouse rooms, which we'll talk about soon, that it will be rolling out it's going to be opening up to more people soon, and onto the Android. And like I said, it's an audio only app. It's actually a place where you do not have to be on camera. So for those of you that are, I guess, a few introverts out there, and you really struggle with interacting via and having your face on camera, this is a great little app to use because it's audio only and people can only hear your voice. So why is it significant for beauty pros? Well, I believe that 2021 right now is the year of collaboration. I think it's really important that we all join forces and we make the most out of our colleagues in order to impact more people in our business. Now, the best thing about Clubhouse, in my opinion, is the connections that we have around the world. This is a global community, and I'm telling you that beauty pros are taking it by storm. The connection that you have around the world in amongst people that are the top in our professions in the UK and the US. And I'm talking hair and beauty, hair and makeup, celebrity, hair and makeup artists, and you're able to connect with these people. You're able to ask them questions. It's like having a coach in your pocket when it comes to growing your business and getting advice from some of the top names. And I would love to see more Australian names on there. At the moment, there aren't too many of us, but I definitely want to see more Australians on here. And I think it would be so awesome if we had people like Ray Morris on here, Sharon Blaine, if we had Lorna Evans, for example. These, some names that we all have learned from in the past, that we look up to, that we see every year at Beauty and Hair Expo. And I think it would be brilliant to get them into Clubhouse. I haven't seen them on there yet. That's not to say that they're not on there, but I just haven't come across them yet. And I do try and do a bit of a search for those kinds of people, because the one thing I love is this connection amongst hair and beauty pros, where they are just sharing so much information. And that brings me to point number 2 there, which is value. The value and the knowledge that people are bringing to this app. Not even in the world of beauty, but also in the world of social media, of digital marketing, of even things like relationships, wealth building, real estate. It's the rooms that are happening in Clubhouse, the things that you can drop into and listen to are just amazing. Another thing that it's really good for, as you can see, I've written there for number 3, is trends, and really understanding the trends that are coming up and seeing what's happening around the world and what they see. Now, I think right now that Australia is kind of leading the trend back into opening up into hair and beauty, because we're lucky and fortunate enough to be able to service our clients right now and around the world as I record this, especially in the UK and the US. That's not happening right now for them. But so we're kind of leading the trends as to what's coming up over the next kind of 12 to 18 months. But it definitely is a great place to kind of drop into some of these rooms and really listen to some of these expert speakers and understand what's coming up and what they're seeing in our industry. The other thing you can do if you are actually very active on Clubhouse is you become authority in your space. I'm actually hosting rooms every Monday now, 9:30 a.m. Brisbane time. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I'm sharing more about what I do, who I am, and why people might want to follow me off of the app and become a part of my coaching community. So the way that people are using it, again, globally, is to gain that authority in their business. And that might not be hosting a room. It might actually just being part of somebody else's room and being able to be part of the conversation. We'll talk a bit more in depth about that in just a second. And last of all, I put sales question mark. Now, here's the thing. You're not going to make money on the app directly, but people are making money on their products and services like off the app. And when I say sales as well, I also mean the connection to the fact of you may meet someone that's in your area. Let's say you are a hairstylist and you happen to connect with a makeup artist who's been in the same room, Clubhouse room as you, and you realize that you're in the same area. You can join forces and suddenly you've got double the bookings, in which case you kind of have made yourself into a kind of sales machine. Also, for those of you who are coaches, if you are beauty educators, again, like this is a way to connect with people, build their authority, and be able to get students into your program. So there's just so much value right now in really understanding the Clubhouse app. Okay, so how do we use it? Once you're invited to join via text message, it will ask you to create a username, and it will ask for your name as well, your name, your first name and last name. It doesn't like you to use business names. So I wouldn't join as Bridal Business School. I joined as Dawn Rose. Dawn Emma Rose is what I've joined as to make it easy for people to find me, because they believe that people connect with people, and so they wanted to make sure that, because they wanted to make this more of a personalized than business app where you are always just talking and it feels like, you know, you're just sort of jumping in the conversation and having a chat with people. They wanted to make it a community feel, so people connect with people. So they've asked you, you can put your username, you can have your username as whatever you want, but they just recommend that you always go by your name. And then it'll ask you to complete your bio, and it gives you the option to link to Instagram and or Twitter, which is actually quite significant when we move on and we talk about bios in a little while. All right, so how else do we use it? Well, there are kind of three parts to the Clubhouse. We have hallways, we have rooms, and we have clubs. So let me just walk you through those as to what they look like. So the hallway is, and I've said here, imagine entering a conference venue, and on the door of each conference room is what's being talked about, and then the speakers who are actually talking about it. And you can make a decision as to which room you decide to enter to join in the conversation. And what you can do is you can join the room, you can go and sit down at the table, and you can listen to the people up the front giving you information. Or you could perhaps join in the conversation as well. It's another thing that you can perhaps do. So the hallway literally is like it sounds like. It's a hallway. There's all these doors off of it, and you just have to choose which room you want to go into. So you enter into a room. Every time you enter into that room, as if you were going to go in, you were going to sit down at the table, you enter in a listen only mode. So your microphone is completely disabled. You're not able to unmute it. Only if you were invited to speak by the host or a moderator of the room, so like their kind of second chair, and they're the people that have this little green thing here. You can see this little green, that means they're a moderator. So normally moderators will have this little green tag next to them, but only if you're invited by the host of the room or a moderator, are you allowed to actually, are you able to actually unmute your microphone. Then we have the third part of Clubhouse, which is actually what they call the clubs. And it's where you can join a club to find out more. You kind of can follow a club is the word. You can follow individuals, but you can also follow a club, so that when people who are part of that club go live, for example, I have the Bridal Business School Club, anyone in that club, any of my members of that club can join, and they can create rooms under my club name. Now that is something that I can set as the owner of the club. I can say, yes, please let people create rooms in my club, or I can set it as no one can. So they're actually talking about being able to monetize these clubs as well. That's something that's coming soon, where you could have a club that people have to pay to join. So there's loads of things going on with Clubhouse. Like, it's really in its infancy stage. But I really wanted to get across why and how you would use it as a beauty pro. The best thing about the clubs is that you can just do a quick search on Clubhouse. You can find your tribe. So you can do a search for hair, and it will come up with all the people that have got hair in their bio. You can beauty, makeup, for example, and then you can either join a club or you can follow a person. So if you see some names that you want to follow, you can do that as well. And it means anytime that they enter a room or your club, somebody starts a room under your club, you're going to get notified about that. Okay, so when you enter into a room, there are 3 sections of a room. And if we can kind of liken it again to this whole conference venue, you enter into the club at the back of the room. Okay, we are at the back of the room. At the front of the room, at the top of the board, as you can see all these faces here. This is what they call the stage. So the first part, until you see a little bit of like a line or a new section that's created, all of these people are up the front facing the audience, and they're what you call on the stage. Generally speaking, the person at the top left-hand corner is the person who started that room. And as I said, all these other people with the little green buttons next to them, they're called moderators. And the speakers on the stage are the ones who can mute and unmute their microphones. Now, there's a lot of protocols around being in a room. And it's basically that whenever you're not speaking, you always have your microphone on mute to allow others to speak and to allow that, so there's no background noise from you. But that's generally how it works. And then what we have is we have the next part, and you'll see it's very, very faint here, but it says followed by the speakers. So basically then you have the next section of the room is all of these people here. It's all their connections, all the people that they follow that come into the room. They are in the next section. And then after that, these are all the other people in the room. It says others in the room. These are all people where you have, you've just come across this room, you've walked in and you've just sat down in the back of the class to listen. So that's how the rooms work. And you can see here as well at the top, there's always a topic here. Sometimes you'll see above that will be the actual club. If it's run under a club, it will be just above the topic. But this is where we would be able to see, the club and what they're talking about within that room. So there's a couple of things that you should know about Clubhouse, and I just wanted to kind of run over just a few of the rules, and then I'm going to talk to you about how you can kind of get started and create your own bio. The first of all, like I said before, you need to sign up with your name and not as your business. That's really important that you do that. You enter the room as listen only. You will have a party hat. In fact, I might be able to show you. I'm going to flick just back onto my screen here. Just have a look. Can you see this here? These people here. This means if you've got a party hat, it means it's your first week on Clubhouse. So anyone that has a little party hat, it means that they've only just joined within the last 7 days. As I said as well, you need to be invited to the stage before you can speak. If you have a question, you can raise your hand. There is a function where you can raise your hand. You can see here, there's this little hand raising. So if I needed to ask, sometimes they actually invite you to ask a question. The great thing about some of these speakers is they actually do like coaching sessions on the app for free. And if you're fortunate enough, you could get with a big named entrepreneur and they'll do a big, you can ask them a massive question. They'll do a bit of a coaching session with you. Some people just give you complete, personal advice. You've got a question about your own business, they'll answer those questions. If if the host can't answer the questions, they'll go amongst all the other people that are up on the stage and see if they can help. It's truly amazing the amount of knowledge that is in particularly some of the bigger rooms as well. But you can raise your hand and then they will invite you to the stage, and that is when your microphone will become unmuted. You just pop it on mute while you're there just waiting your turn to be able to speak. And that's basically how you can get to the stage if you're not hosting the room yourself. So you need to pay attention to the protocols as well of each of the rooms. So there's a lot of protocols around there. There are protocols, as I said, amongst, whether they're allowing people to come on the stage and speak, whether they can actually turn off the ability to raise your hand. So sometimes they have so many people asking questions and they can't get through them all, so they'll turn off hand raising for a short time, or they try and get through all of the first lots of questions and then they'll turn it back on again afterwards. People with a green star, as I said, are called moderators, and the moderators, certainly for the bigger rooms, the moderators are people where they will help kind of keep the room in order. They'll make sure that people all get their say. They'll make sure that they are inviting people to the stage for perhaps the host of the room. And people actually get paid on Clubhouse these days to be moderators. They actually get paid by some of the big names around the world in podcasting and social media and coaching and marketing. And they get paid to basically to moderate their rooms for them. And as I said, the top left person is the person who opened the room. Generally speaking, they're the person who opened the room. Sometimes these rooms can run for hours. In fact, I think that I don't know if it's a competition, but I certainly have heard rooms running for 18 or 20 hours. And so the person who started the room may not even be there. They may have gone to bed, because it could be the middle of the night for them. And somebody else has taken over, on the other side of the world, for example. So I know that in some of the really, really big rooms and the really big named rooms where you see a lot of big name people in social media and digital marketing, for example, they start the room and the room just, it continues all day and all night, and then they want to go to bed, and then somebody who is perhaps part of their inner circle but is on the other side of the world, like in Australia or perhaps the UK, they take over. It's basically for the next 8 hours until they get up again and get back into the room. It's absolutely crazy and amazing. And the other thing is that you need to host at least 3 rooms with the same title before you can apply to own a group. Now, that has recently changed to the fact that you can now create a group from the app. There are still, I think, a few rules around that, and some people are still finding that they can't actually create their own club, I should say, not group. They can't create their own club just yet because they haven't actually hosted. But once you've hosted at least one Clubhouse room, it gives you the opportunity now to create a club if you wish to do so. All right, so one of the things I want to cover before I leave you is about your bio, because if we want to get found on this app, if we want to become an authority, if we want to get booked, if we want to collaborate, we need to have a really effective bio. And the great thing about Clubhouse is it allows you to have a big old bio. And even with all this stuff that you can see here, I didn't even get to the end of the amount of characters I could use. It could have been a lot bigger. But here are my pointers for when it comes to creating your effective bio. First of all, what you do and your credibility at the top here. So somewhere near the top, you want to say what you do. As I said, I've got international business coach and consultant, speaker, podcaster, live streamer, and 15-year hairstylist and makeup artist. Because here's what's going to happen. If you start turning up into people's rooms, they're going to tap your face and they're going to look at your bio. And the first thing they want to see is this a type of person who kind of should be in my room? Should I be listening to this person? If they have got something to say, are they of any kind of authority? So it's a great way to just pop straight at the top there, because as you can see, they have to scroll down to see more. So pop straight at the top here, your credibility and what you do. And then just after that, after you've kind of added in what you do, you want to say how you help people. So helping wedding beauty pros become a bride magnet, attract a revolving door of brides to beautify year after year, and even when they can't be face to face, helping them create the best wedding business ever with complimentary online courses and memberships to add to their killer offline services. So that just gives me, again, a little bit more of my I help statement, so that other beauty professionals know what I do. The other thing you can do inside here is create a little offer. I've actually put that I have a room that I host Mondays at 9:30. That's my kind of offer. I've got a little free gift for people that they can use. And then you can go further down. You can kind of have a little bit more into your information and your accreditations, credibility. That should say accreditations. You can say, you know, what you're qualified in. You can do that a little bit further around. And I also like to use emojis because they are searchable on Clubhouse app, and the location that I'm at. You can see I've put Gold Coast, Australia there. So if anyone's looking to connect with somebody in the Gold Coast, they could type in Gold Coast hair and find me, because those words are in my bio. They could just search for the lipstick icon. They're probably likely to find hundreds of makeup artists. So have a really good bio, think about your bio and make it really kind of meaty with lots of kind of keywords in there. For example, I've used the word bride a few times, wedding beauty, you know, coach, hairdresser, makeup artist. So those are all the things that are associated with myself and my brand. And therefore, when people are looking for me on Clubhouse, they'll be able to find me. Now, one of the other things I want to say is that what you want to do is you want to follow as many people as you can with Clubhouse. Follow, because the more people that you follow inside of Clubhouse, the more you'll be exposed to the rooms and the clubs that they're watching and following themselves. And what happens is that when you follow someone and they follow you back, you get notified when they start a room, or if they're actually in the room. They're able to do something called pinging you. So they ping you to invite you to a room. And what I love about this is that because the people that I am following and that are following back are all in sort of hair and beauty. I would say 90% of them are hair and beauty professionals. You know, they might have access to a room that perhaps you didn't even know existed, because people are joining them. You know, people are creating these rooms all the time. And what they're able to do is being able to, once they're in the room, you have what they call ping someone into rooms, basically like an invite, and it says you can then just tap on the people's faces who you're following and who are following you, and you can say to them, hey, I'm in this room, join it with me, and then it gets more people into the room. There is so much to learn with Clubhouse, and it's so new and in its infancy, but I really hope that just this little short presentation today has given you an idea of how you might use it as a beauty pro, how you might be able to really learn and just absorb knowledge and become active. And particularly for those of you who are fearful of that whole kind of video conferencing thing and having to be on camera, this is a great way to build your authority, but through a voice only application. Well, we have covered a lot today when it comes to the new Clubhouse app. I hope that it has proven to be helpful for you. For those of you who are consumers, in other words, you're getting on there just to listen and learn, is a great place to be for the hair and beauty industry. For those of you who are educators, who are looking even to just collaborate and network with other people in Australia or around the world, I think you're going to find it just an amazing place to be. In my opinion, everyone should be on Clubhouse right now, absorbing as much information and then hosting some rooms themselves. This is a great place to be if you are a little bit of an introvert and would rather start with audio than video. I would definitely jump onto Clubhouse now. I do have a few spare invitations, so if someone wants to reach out to me to actually be able to join the Clubhouse app, I'd be happy to invite you. Just come and find me, Dawn, at bridalbusinessschool.com, or reach out to me on all of the usual social media channels at Bridal Business School. All right, guys, have a great rest of your expo, and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.